We'll now open the Riviera License Commission meeting for July. First order of business is the approval of the minutes of June 18th and July 3rd. Is there a motion on the table?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Is there a second to that motion?
Second motion.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The minutes are approved. Item number one is the Revere Beach Partnership, 150 Beach Street, Adrian McGuire. Please state your name and address for the record, please.
Good afternoon. Adrian Sacco McGuire, 114 Pearl Ave, Revere.
Great. And you've got an application for the Revere Beach Partnership. Can you give us some background on what you plan to do?
Sure. So this is for a private invite-only tented event on Revere Beach, Friday evening and Saturday evening.
Great. And so we have two applications, one day for Friday and a one day for Saturday. Correct. Is that correct? Okay. Any questions from the commission?
I have no questions. The two events, are they going to be at the same location?
Correct.
They are, both of them. It's one of the greatest things we have in the city, I think, the sand sculptures. I'm looking forward to it.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you. All set?
Are there any proponents that want to speak on behalf of this event? Please state your name and address for the record.
Good evening. Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and members. Anthony Zambuto, 87 High Street, Revere. Obviously, the Sand Sculpting Festival is the premier event for Revere. International, national media. I don't know if we get 600,000 or 700,000 people that come to the event. Of course, I'm in favor of this two-day license or two one-day licenses.
Great. Thank you very much. Are there any other proponents that want to speak on behalf of this event? Hearing and seeing none, I will close that side. Any opponents that want to speak on behalf of this event? Hearing and seeing none, I'll close both sides. Is there a motion on the table?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Is there a second to that motion?
Second motion.
All
And
in favor?
that's to approve item number 1 and item number 2.
Correct. Is there a second to that motion?
Second motion.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Great. Your event has been approved. Thank you. Item number 3 is committee to elect Dan Rizzo, 137 Lewis Wharf, Boston, Mass. Francis Perullo, contact. Please state your name and address for the record, please.
Frank Perullo, 137 Lewis Wharf, Boston, Mass.
Great. And can you give us a little bit of a description of the one-day license you're applying for?
Sure. The mayor does an annual barbecue for his campaign committee. He has done it at his house in previous years. It has grown a little too large for his house, so we're looking to, which is a good problem to have, we're looking to get to a better location, and we are renting the Beachmont VFW for the day. That includes the outside and the inside.
Great. Any questions from the commission?
No question.
No questions.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve. Is there a second to that motion?
Second the motion.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Your license has been granted. Thank you. Item number 4 is the Hertz Corporation doing business as Hertz Car Sales, 40 Lee Burbank Highway. Please state your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Carl Salmons. My address is 408 Vassar Street, Wyckoff, New Jersey.
Great, thank you. And you have an application for a Class 2 motor license?
Correct.
Could you tell us exactly what you're planning to do?
We're planning to open a used
Can you
car
just
lot.
pick your mic up a little bit?
Sure.
Thank you. Sorry.
We're planning to open a used car lot as Hertz Car Sales on Lee Burbank Highway.
And how many cars do you anticipate that you're going to have on this lot?
75 to about 85 cars.
Now, this lot was used in the past for storage of your vehicles, is that correct?
I believe parking for 50
Parking.
persons. Yes.
Great. Okay. How many vehicles, how big is the lot in
I
terms
believe
of?
the lot is somewhere in the neighborhood of almost 2 acres. I believe
acres.
it's over an acre, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. Great. Any questions from the commission?
How many cars have you had on the lot?
I believe they could fit almost 400 cars on that lot right now with the thrifty parking. So,
Almost 400.
yes,
And are these lined marking spots?
they are.
Okay, so with this 100 cars, that will just be for the used car lot, not rentals or?
There will be no rentals out of there. We'll still continue to do the thrifty car parking in the back part of the lot, but we're looking to use like the first 3 rows as showcasing the used cars for the car sales side.
Okay, and right now, how many spaces do you have for the rentals?
There are no rentals done out of there right now.
Oh, there isn't it?
No, there is not.
You're going to put rentals in there?
No, we're not. We don't plan to do any rentals out of there.
Oh, okay.
No, just continue to do the car park, please.
Just,
With
oh, well, that's
thrifty.
what I meant, the parking. You're going to continue with the parking
Yes,
also?
yes.
Okay, and so you're talking really 500?
No, we won't exceed capacity. So if it's 350 to 400 spaces, that's what it'll be. We'll just eat into their space, so to speak.
Oh, okay. All right, I don't have any other questions.
Quick question. Repair, do you have any repairs that's on site?
We will not look to do any actual repairs or servicing, no.
Okay. So it's primarily a commercial area, right?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, Commissioner, you brought up a good point with that.
It is.
Do you have any contract with anyone for repairs of vehicles?
We have a maintenance facility right around the corner in East Boston on McClellan Highway that we would use, and we would also contract with any outside vendors to do some of our work if we needed to, safety checks and reconditioning of the vehicles.
Okay, because usually you should have a contract with someone should they have to bring the vehicle back.
Yes. Well, we sell the cars with a 12-month warranty. It's a Hertz certified warranty. So any problems or any issues that arise, we do take care of.
So where would you send them right now? If someone bought a car now, and where are you going to send them for the
If there was
repairs?
a manufacturer's warranty, we would handle it, they could handle it through the dealer, or we would look to rectify the problem ourselves.
Okay. Do you have anything in mind as a contract, who you're going to work with?
Well, we currently are contracted with a local repair vendor that is, I believe he's in Revere, if I'm not mistaken, that we use currently to do our safety checks and some of our like brakes, tires, and things like that.
Oh, okay, so you're saying you do have a contract?
Yes,
Oh,
we do.
okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry if I misstated or anything misunderstood, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So in terms of the parking and now with the addition of the sale of vehicles, you won't have any more than the maximum limit that you currently have. My concern is in terms of having more vehicles than...
No, well, we don't want to disturb or impede on the thrifty car park piece of it. Obviously, we don't want to, any customer dissatisfaction or anything like that. So, our cars will be showcased in the front lanes, and that's it. And they'll continue to park their cars on the lot, and they've also got another lot that they use for overflow.
Great. Thank you. I don't have any other questions. Any other questions from the... What's that? Any other questions from...
I have no other questions.
Are there any proponents that want to speak on behalf of this issue? Okay, no proponents. Hearing and seeing none, I will close that side. Any opponents?
Anthony Zambuto, 87 High Street. I'm here in my capacity as City Council President. Just for the edification of the Commission, the Building Department issued a cease and desist this morning on the Park and Fly, which is an illegal use. It was an accessory use to the rental car, of thrifty rental car. They've continued to operate the parking law in violation of our zoning ordinances and completely illegally. I would ask at a minimum that this license be tabled until we straighten this thing out. His numbers are completely incorrect. There's 149 spots for Park and Fly on that lot. They have a storage lot in the back that's only for overflow parking, not related to the Park and Fly, of 600 spots that was permitted. But the issuance of this accessory use was only as an accessory use to the rental car parking. And at the time, the City of Revere, as you may remember, received a $10 per contract surcharge. which helped to pay for our police station, which we don't longer get because Hertz has gobbled up Thrifty, Enterprise, and whoever else, and owns all these places. They're all on the airport, so Revere is eliminated from this surcharge on rental cars. But that's, aside from that, the only reason they were granted a use of Park and Fly here was as an accessory use. I have the special permit and the conditions here, and it states that it's as an accessory use to that use only. And so when the rental car went away, so did the accessory use for the Park and Fly go away. Now, we may be able to work something out in the future here, but as I said, they're continuing at this minute, and I'm sure they've got people who booked appointments to park their car and fly, even though they got a cease and desist order this morning. I'm sure they're still continuing the business. So I would ask, at a minimum, this license be tabled until we straighten this out. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Are there any other opponents?
Sorry?
Any other opponents?
Are there any other opponents that want to speak on behalf of this issue? Opponents. Please state your name and address for the record, please.
John Powers, Ward 5 City Councilor, 46 Neponset Street, Revere. I remember very clearly a decade ago or so when the rent-a-car company went in there. I believe it was Thrifty at that time. And they were parking cars in there. And it was allowed as a matter of accessory use. I don't believe that any longer exists. And I would ask, as my colleague did, Councilor Zambuto, that this matter be tabled until an agreement can be worked out between the City of Revere and the rent-a-car company. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other opponents that want to speak on behalf of this issue? Hearing and seeing none, I'll close that half of the meeting. So can you give us some background in terms of the special permit
I don't know anything about the special permit or what was actually, we purchased Dollar Thrifty within the last 2 years. My understanding is they've been in operation for longer than that. It used to be car rental and car parking. When Logan Airport expanded their rental piece, that's when the rental piece of Thrifty moved out of there. Mm-hmm. They continued to operate the car park or the Park and Fly.
Great. Are there any questions from the commission? I'm going to make a recommendation to table this just so in order to give the City Council an opportunity to explore the issue a little bit deeper and also allow Hertz the ability to either come to some type of agreement with the City Council since it is a special permit.
Understood.
And so I'll make a motion to table this. I would ask that you meet with the City Councilors, arrange a meeting, sort out the special permit, and then come back to us at that time.
Will do.
Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second the motion.
Yeah, I'll second. I got to get my arms around it. There's too many open questions here.
Okay.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Item number 5 is George Filipponi doing business as Wonderland Auto. Please state your name for the record, please.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the Honorable Board, Commissioners. I'm here representing a new applicant. Her name is Taroya Atelhach. Ms. Atelhach is now doing business by virtue of a certificate filed with city is DBA Wonderland Auto. She seeks from this honorable body an approval of a Class 2 license to sell used cars at the location 1176 North Shore Road. 1176 North Shore Road is owned by North Shore Road Realty Trust. The trustee is George Filipponi, and he's here with me today. Mr. Filipponi has done business as Wonderland Auto for 16 to 17 years in that location. That particular location is in the RC2 district. So that RC2 district, the site is approximately 17,488 square feet, as the site plan shows. The Class 2 license is what we seek as one of a principal use. We also have there, by virtue of the grant of a special permit given by your Honorable City Council, for auto garage only. The building is approximately 30 feet by 55 feet, has 45 spaces. 10 spaces will be designated on the site plan for the auto garage. Those spaces would be number 17 through 27, for those who want to note that down. The particular first floor has 3 bays where work is done, along with an office. The second floor also has offices and a bathroom. The site plan is attached for your review. We'll answer any questions. At this point, my client, along with her husband, operate a transportation company called Ryan Transportation. They live at 60 Butler Street in Revere, Massachusetts. She expects to continue working for the transportation company, along with operating Wonderland Auto. She's also here with her husband. They have a history of Class 2 sales in the state of New Hampshire. City Council Powers is also here as well. I'll answer any questions, Mr. Chairman, you have.
Great, thank you. Please.
Right now, it says they're asking for 35 spaces. How many is on the license now?
It's 45.
There's 45. So 35 will be for sale and 10 for employees
No, it's auto repair, the special permit.
for the auto repair. So then where is their customer parking?
Customer parking is part of the 35 that's there, and always has been. The council granted the special permit in 2010.
Well, if you say 35 for sale, but yet they're also
Well,
for,
I think when we mean for sale, Commissioner, through you, Mr. Chairman, we mean the total use of the Class 2 license, which would include customer parking.
okay, is it lined also, the 35 spots?
That's a good question. I don't think it is. No.
It's not? Okay, that was something I would like to see. It's very hard when someone has to go down and do their inspections and just guesstimate how many cars are there. With the stripes, we know that there is a spot for each car.
Yeah, when we, if you look at the site plan that was submitted with the special permit and the license, you can see the 45 cars laid out on the site plan as part of your package. So to the extent you want that stripe, we can do that. But as you notice, when we're doing sale cars, we do not put them in the traditional manner. We actually tandem park them, and that's what we've done for other used car sales.
Okay. The other thing, again, repairs, is what contract do they have for repairs of their...
Pezzi Auto at 571 Washington Street. Mr. Pezzi actually is the cousin of Mr. Filipponi, and they will continue to operate as their repair servicer for the new client, Mrs. Hettelipachi.
Okay, in this location, I'm pretty sure I know where it is. Is that at the corner of Agawam and North Shore Road?
That is correct.
It is, okay. I'm very familiar with the area, so it is a little residential there. I mean, there's not many houses there. But I have dealt with this location in the past, and I know for the last several years we haven't had any problems with cars being parked on the street, and I would like to keep it that way, as Mr. Filipponi has. He's done a great job, and I think he can remember times people were just parking there, and as you know, it's all residential, Agawam Street. So I would hope that they would be as courteous as the previous owner with their customers as parking their cars and being respectful to the neighborhood.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, to the Commissioner, the lease is signed by the trust with the with Mrs. Hatahachi is a one-year lease with 2 extensions. They are leasing with almost the entire premises. Mr. Filipponi is going to retain an office on the 2nd floor. He expects to be there all the time. He wants to assure this commission that he's not leaving the site abandoned, like an abandoned landlord. He'll be around the site.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
No.
Council, I have one quick question. So there'll be a new contract for service between the new owners and the repair company?
Yes.
Has it? Great, thank you. Are there any opponents that want to speak on behalf of this issue? Hearing and seeing none, are there any proponents? Please. Please state your name and address for the record, please.
Good afternoon, John Powers, 46 Neponset Street, Revere. I feel I would be very remiss if I did not come here this afternoon and support Mr. Filipponi. I have known Mr. Filipponi for approximately 30 years. He and his mother and father lived next door to me, 2 houses away on Neponset Street. He has an impeccable character. I've seen him start from a very small business to the facility he has right now. I've never had a problem with him. I know, based on Mr. Filipponi's character, that he would certainly not lease this property out to anyone that was not of the same character as himself. And he's done an excellent job down there. He still owns a 2-family house, I believe, adjacent to the property. He's cleaned that area up considerably, and I would hope that this board would give him every consideration based on his application. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you. Are there any other proponents that want to speak on behalf of this application? Hearing and seeing none, I will close that side. Are there any opponents that want to speak on behalf of this issue? Hearing and seeing none, I'll close both sides. I will make a motion to approve. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second the motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Your application has been approved. Item number 8 is a late application, Off the Boat Inc., doing business as D'Amelio's Off the Boat Restaurant. This is an amendment to the application for an all-alcohol restaurant license. Please state your name and address for the record, please.
Good afternoon. Laureen Scatino. I'm representing Off the Boat. With me today is Antonetta D'Amelio and Vinny Albano.
Great. And our understanding is that this has been bounced by the ABCC, and you need to come before this board again for an amendment to the application.
Yes,
correct?
it is. It's strictly a technicality. We're asking the amendment to reflect a change of the president and director from Joseph D'Amelio to Antonetta D'Amelio. And in addition, the application is to be amended to reflect and clarify a loan from Vincent Albano to the corporation.
Great. And what, so in this change of ownership, what type of responsibilities in the change of management that will take place at the establishment?
There is no change of responsibilities. Antonetta D'Amelio has always been the manager. She will remain the manager. It's simply just adding her as the president and director of the corporation.
Great. And sorry. Oh, here, sorry. Here we go. I'm sorry. And what will Mr. Albano's relationship be in this partnership in the restaurant?
There's no pledge of the license with him. He's strictly just a lender of an unsecured funds.
Great. Are there any questions from the board?
I don't have it here. What is the capacity of the premises right now? Do we have that, Maggie? What?
Yeah, it's
How many?
I'm sorry, could you please step up to the microphone?
It's 95, 60 in the dining area, and about 35 in the bar area. We're not changing anything from the original application and floor plan.
Okay, so you're talking around 200 capacity?
No,
No.
95.
Did you say one? Oh, okay, 95.
Yes.
And your parking is where?
Across the street, there's a lot across the street.
So you have the parking, so you have plenty of parking
Yes.
for this establishment? Okay, thank you.
I have no questions.
Just one more, just
Sure.
curiosity. Do you have any date when you're going to be opening?
They're working on it as, as soon as everything is all squared away and set.
Yeah. I live in the area, so I go by it every day, and it seems like you're moving along, and then all of a sudden, there's nothing going on. So we were kind of looking for July, the beginning of August. Doesn't look like it's going to happen.
Yeah, we're hoping September, October, yeah.
Oh, okay, that's too bad. Okay, thank you.
Are there any proponents that want to speak on behalf of this applicant?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. I just want to give my endorsement to this establishment. These people come with super recommendations, especially for their food and service at their East Boston location. And we're looking forward to that being a vibrant restaurant on Revere Street. I know he's spending a ton of money. There's a lot more work in there than they expected, so they pretty much gutted the whole place. And so the city's eager to see them thrive at that location.
Great.
Thank you.
Could you please just state your name for the record, please? Counselor, just state your name for the record, please.
I apologize.
That's okay.
Anthony Zamputo,
Thank you.
87 High Street. I figured I said it so much tonight it was in your memory bank.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Are there any other proponents that want to speak on behalf? Hearing and seeing none, I will close that side. Are there any opponents? Hearing and seeing none, I will close that side of the application. Is there a motion on the table?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Is there a second to that?
Second the motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Your license has been approved. Thank you. Item number 9 is a show cause hearing for MFRP Corp. doing business as the Squire Club, 604 Squire Road. Peter DePisa, manager.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. My name is Attorney Lawrence Simeone. I'm here to represent MFRP Corporation, doing business as the Squire Club.
Counselor, just pull your mic down, please.
Should I maybe get a step a little higher?
No, just pull it down. It's good.
Okay.
Thank you. Sorry.
The notice of June 2nd identified an incident that happened on June 1st, 2014, an altercation in the parking lot. The notice stated that patrons may have appeared to be intoxicated. The notice established a suggestion of violation of Mass General Laws 138, Section 69, the sale or delivery to intoxicated persons. Another letter came to my attention as counsel for the licensee on July 7, 2014. The letter, while it did not state anything about a notice or a hearing, it did say at the next show cause hearing, which would be the follow-up hearing from the June 2nd matter that you were kind enough to continue to allow me additional time to prepare, that it was expected that I would be able to address the June 4th incident. That a police report was attached there too. I have to be... Okay. Thanks, May. I have to be, for the record, state I'm not so sure if I understand whether an adequate notice has been given, because that particular communication did not identify a potential violation that I would be presented with on behalf of the licensee. I also got another letter that talked about a July 8th incident. It's my understanding now that you will not be expecting the licensee to discuss the July 8th incident this evening. Is that correct, Mr. Chairman?
That's correct.
Now, so the applicant is ready to move forward with the June 1st date as has been requested. If required, we'd be moving forward with the July 4th date as well.
Well, I believe, Councilor, that given that it's the 7th, that you were given notice on the 7th and today is the 17th, it's 10 days' notice.
Yeah, it's not the 10 days notice, sir. If you look at the particular letter, it doesn't cite a violation. It just says, show up and talk about it. It doesn't say, we suggest that you cited a violation. So if it's the same violation, which I'm assuming it is, I can move forward on that issue, but if it were another violation, I would have come here completely unaware. Just putting that on the record.
So are you talking about the July 4th incident?
Yes, sir.
So you're not prepared to speak about the July 4th? Is that what you're saying?
If you're asking us to be prepared, we are prepared. I brought witnesses just in case, and I know the offices. I don't know if you brought officers, but I see two officers to the left of me. I think they're involved in the June 1st incident. Detail officer and another officer. So I don't.
This is a public hearing. I'm not sure what they're here to speak about at this point.
I have to tell you that you and I have a distinct difference as to what a public hearing is. This is a hearing. You call it a show cause hearing. There is no definition of show cause hearing under your regulations. There is a hearing. Hearings under 138 basically are not evidentiary hearings. Like
Correct.
There's no rules of evidence. But certainly there's no third party outside like the public. A public hearing, again, I note for the record, because it has to do with sanctions. That's why I'm raising this issue. A public hearing gets advertised in the paper, saying that a show cause hearing was established and whatever. Specifically, I draw your attention to your own regulations. And again, not to fight with the commission, but to establish a kind of a field of play here. It says, upon the board's suspension, revocation, or cancellation, forfeiture, or refusal, the board shall render a license, and they can make modifications to that license after notice in a hearing. But I noticed farther down, it says, in addition to the foregoing, the board may, in exercise of its discretion, decrease the hours during which any licensee may make sales of alcohol beverages after proper notice and after conducting a public hearing. The public hearing is more akin to what you first did when you first were appointed, Mr. Chairman, which is a hearing when we talked about the 2 o'clock license people, the 2 o'clock license issue. There was an actual public hearing that you were going to take that up, and it was a public notice. I know that the board believes it has 2 sanctioning powers. One power is to roll back hours. The other power is to suspend the license. Each one has a different evidentiary standard, and each one has a different meaning to the applicant. I can tell you if the commission gave an indication of which way they were going, it would shorten or lengthen my hearing. I will tell you that from my point of view, purely my point of view, in order to represent these people adequately, if this were a hearing that would only offer a suspension, where being an appeal to the ABCC, that suspension is allowed a de novo hearing at the ABCC. So I think practice would be I would make a presentation, but I'm not so sure if I would put witnesses on and belabor the point with the commission. However, if it's a sanction of rollback, I have no choice but to put all the evidence before you, because at that point, when we go to appeal, we're not allowed to go to the ABCC. We have to go to the Superior Court. It's a 30A appeal, and the court will determine your sanction against the licensee based upon all the evidence. There's no de novo hearing. So with that said, chew on that for a while, and I'm ready once you tell me I'm to respond.
So you're saying that if you decide to move forward, I would say to you that I think we should move forward. Well, let me first state that I don't think that I personally am not looking at a suspension of the license at this point. I don't know what my colleagues think at this point. I'll give them an opportunity to speak on that issue. However, I do feel that you know, given the fact that you could potentially look at rollbacks, and if you believe that should be at a public meeting, then what I might suggest is that we set a special meeting for it, post it, and give you an opportunity to do that.
Because it says in the rules and regulations, I only refer to, do you have a copy before you, sir?
I do.
Okay. So you notice it says, after conducting a public hearing concerning the public need for such decrease. So that would be the test, as opposed to your wide breadth of power that you have under Section 64-138, which says that you can suspend, alter, or modify the licensee's license based on any violation. There's an evidentiary standard that's different. That's why I'm trying to get clarification. If you tell me that suspension is a potential penalty.
Well, I don't think that we could tell you. I mean, I could tell you what my position is, but I can't tell you what my colleagues think.
And I agree with you, and I'm not saying that any member should tell me what your colleagues think, or you, for that matter. I can only say that I've given you some information. If rollback is within your purview as a board, and you want to exercise that right, then I've at least brought up this issue. Now, you could go back to your city solicitor, and he might say, no, I respectfully disagree. It doesn't have to have a public hearing, as Mr. Tracy Simeone said. I'm not your counsel, but I'm just bringing that out, setting it for the record. It's the burden of the commission to first establish a violations committee.
Correct.
So I'm going to let you put whatever evidence you're going to put on, and I will do my best I can on behalf of this licensee to respond to that evidence.
Well, I think, first off, is that we had a public hearing to establish whether we wanted to roll the license to 2 a.m., okay? But now we're talking about management of the establishment and how all those events that took place during the course of the last month and a half. Okay, and my feeling is that based on the fact that we haven't given you the 10 days for the latest incident, which would be the third incident, that we're willing to give you the next meeting for that incident or event. Okay, on this one, my feeling is that this is more about management of the club and making sure that you're meeting the regulations set by the Mass General Laws, okay, under Chapter 140, Section 183A, okay, which goes on to talk about management of the establishment and the associated parking lots and safety and health and all of those things as part of operating the club.
That particular license legislation and law you cited has to do with the entertainment license and not the liquor license.
Correct.
So there has been no notice that came out of the commission dealing with a potential violation of the entertainment license. The only notice that the commission has sent to date is 138, Section 69, that patrons appear to have been intoxicated. I am here ready to address that. I have witnesses, depending on what is said by the officers offering testimony, because I play defense in this. I'm not on offense. So I'm just trying to make sure that to keep the playing field. Everybody knows where I'm coming from because I do a lot of business here, and I want to make sure that there's no sleight of hand.
Mm-hmm. No,
so in that particular case, I forewarn you rather than sit back and smile. I forewarn you. There's no notice of a 140, Section 183 violation.
Okay. Excuse me. Okay, count.
Excuse me, one last thing.
Counselor, I think based on the fact that you're correct, in that letter we notified you on Mass General Law, Chapter 140, 69, Section 69. I'm sorry, 138, Section 69. That we feel as a commission that, or at least I feel as the chair, that there are more potential statutes involved than just intoxication of a patron. And so having said that, I think what I will do is we'll table this meeting. We'll notify you in writing. We'll make it a public meeting. We'll have members of the Revere Police Department to discuss each of, in fact, at that point, we'll make it so that we can handle all three incidents at once, if that's acceptable to you.
So whatever the commission wants. But let me say this to the commission so we can go forward. 138 is the alcohol liquor licensing suspension, where you suspend under Section 64, and you have a great deal of discretion because it says any violation.
That's right. That's correct.
140, Sec 183, there is no de novo appeal. So where I, as a practitioner representing somebody, make a choice here, I need not put a complete evidentiary hearing. I listen to you. I might be able to make some points with you narratively and whatever. But if a suspension is granted under 138, there's a de novo hearing at the ABCC.
Correct.
There are no de novo hearings to the ABCC under 140, Section 183. You have to go to the Superior Court.
Correct.
So just so that.
Correct. No, I agree.
Just so
We're in agreement.
everybody knows. So
We're in agreement.
You're heading down that path.
Potentially.
If we have a
That's right.
violation. I mean, we're here to address the intoxication issue. If we want to get to the meat and potatoes, we'll be glad to do that. We don't want to waste any time either.
No, I think what I want to do is I want to be able to address all of the issues all at once. I think, as I've said in the past, that we're not out looking to headhunt for violations. However, recognizing that we've had some incidents, we discussed them, we took some measures. After those measures took place, we had 3 separate events, all within almost a month and 5 weeks, a 5-week period. So to me, I would rather just address all of the issues, get all of the statutes on the table, on the ones in which we're going to discuss. We'll have the police department come back and discuss the events that took place on those evenings, okay? And we'll hold a public hearing.
You're going to hold a public hearing on reducing the hours? Because that's the only need for a public hearing.
Correct. That's correct. That's one of our options, right?
Certainly an option, but when we get to that, like, as you can imagine, as you weren't there in the old regime where they rolled them back, you were here on the upswing. The issue you decide as a legislative body as to whether there's enough evidence to justify a decrease in hours.
Well,
from a public
correct, but at this point, we haven't made any determination on anything. Okay, so my feeling is that we reserve the right to go in either direction, which allows you options in terms of whether you appeal it to the ABCC if it goes one way, or you go to the Superior Court.
You shoot as many balls, and I have to hit them all with the
Exactly.
bats. I'm with you.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
I
don't think
sure that we're all on the same page.
we're absolutely on the same
I don't
page.
want something, and I'm doing this as a courtesy to you, Mr. Chairman, and Mr. Clerk, and you have an old pro to your left, and also because I think it sets the you know, it sets the tone. My applicant is not here to fight with the commission. We're here to work. We honestly believe that notwithstanding the facts in those particular cases, that we did things within the club that we feel were proper, and we responded and worked with the police. What happened outside the particular thing, well, that's a different story, and we can do the best we can to address that. But within the club, and controlling people in the club during the events of those two evenings, we believe we worked with our detail officer in both cases. And in both cases, people were handled relatively professionally and removed from the club. And after that, there were some incidents afterwards. The incidents that happened afterwards, so when you look at the police reports, and I know you have, were incidents that happened after the police department had control of the people that were removed. So, you know, our disconnect, if you will, when we talk about violation, is whether, in fact, how is this applicant, or any applicant for that matter, any licensee, to work with the police when an individual has been removed properly from their premises. What is the obligation of the licensee to work with the police? I think we've met that obligation. We don't like what happened, but I think we did the best we could. Our staff came to assist police, at least in the first incident, which was certainly not a very pleasant incident, certainly the two officers there.
Okay, well, I think that I am going to make a motion to table it. We'll reissue our letter stating the specific statutes and regulations under the Revere License Commission's regulations. We'll have you come back and address those. I don't think we're in any position right now to make a determination whether there is going to be any penalties, sanctions, suspensions, or rollbacks at this point based on we haven't really, I mean, we've got information, but we really haven't heard from all sides, and we want to give you that opportunity. And having said that, I want to make sure that not only for myself but for my colleagues, that they have the ability, if they felt they wanted to go in one way versus the other, or take no action at all. I mean, I'll leave that entirely up to them. So let us. So I'll make a motion to table this. We'll table it for a special hearing. We'll establish a date for the special hearing, sometime probably in the next 3 weeks. We've got to give them 2 weeks' notice, right? 14 days. So sometime after that 14-day period, from the time you receive the notice.
So it'll be sometime in the middle of August.
Correct.
So we're expecting that you'll have a public meeting on the issue of whether decrease is required, given the public need, and then the violations, whether they be from 138 or 140.
Correct. I mean, I don't want to limit myself or the board to any one particular statute that requires me to go one way or the other. I would rather have it as a public hearing, give everybody an opportunity to have their say. Yep. Your folks, the police officers, and the commission.
I would just like to ask one question. I know we're going to have another hearing in 3 weeks. What are we going to expect in 3 weeks? What kind of control is going to show us in the next 3 weeks that you've got control down there, and these incidents aren't going to happen for the next 3 weeks?
Well, I think when the chairman's done talking, if I can talk to him through you, through the chair. Purely from the...
No.
She says, Commissioner Guanasso was basically saying, what does the next 3 weeks bring?
We have 3 weeks now.
We can't change the past, okay? All we can do is evaluate the past, and you evaluate our activities and whatever. But one of the things that I think is critical in this process, as an advocate for the licensee, is my ability to speak to the liaison and other members of law enforcement. Now, the last couple of times, I made some progress. I was successful in having one meeting with the liaison and Lieutenant David Callahan. There's no question, regardless of what happens in the past, whatever sanctions you choose and whatever appeals we take, we have to improve the future, whether we're found not guilty or not. We're no more tolerant to what happened on the 4th and 1st to the parties than you are. I mean, the detail officer works with us. He's not an adversary. And those officers that come to help him are not viewed as adversaries. So what I would like, in at least some opportunity, to open up a dialogue with the police department. Now, I'm not asking the Revere Police Department to manage the licensee, but there is a disconnect as to what happens when people are brought out into the parking lot and left in the hands of the police, and then what happens after that. You know, our testimony will be that both times the individuals were released by the officer and basically asked to move on. And that, you know, that's up to them. That's their discretion. They're the officer in charge. We're only civilians at that point. So if they allow them, and they have no easy job. Let me say this: I wouldn't want to be a detail officer there, because one is he's confronted with people that have just been asked to leave, okay, and these people are members of the public, they're citizens, you know, and he's basically has to decide whether he wants them to remove themselves from the premises without insulting them or further ruining the evening. Many times you hear them say, "Call it a night, move on," but at the same time he has to balance whether these people are in an intoxicated state, whether they're not in an intoxicated state, whether they should be arrested. I wish them a lot of luck in that decision. But our issue for that is, what do we do to assist them? What do we do? In both cases, we assisted our officers. If we're doing enough, you know, if we need to put more people out in the parking lot to assist them, you know, we have to ask them to let us assist them. We're not deputized as members of the Revere Police Department once these people get outside and they're in the hands of law enforcement. So that's the disconnect. I would love the opportunity to talk to law enforcement about, and whatever resolution they come up with, we will work hard to solve that.
But I think the question I was asking, you have 3 weeks before another hearing. What are you going to do for this 3 weeks? We haven't had meetings. We haven't done anything.
We're hoping.
Is there any plans for 3 weeks that we were not going to worry about this, that we don't have a special meeting in 24 hours?
Well, I can only say to you, through you, the chairman, to you, Commissioner, is that I mean, I'm sure my client is going to take steps to try to address the issues, but these issues are outside the facility. I mean, I read the police reports. I read them till my eyes are red, okay? And
but a lot of that, Councilor, stems from the operations within the club, and clearly, you know, if you look at some of the statutes, it talks about overcrowding, parking lots, incidents that take place in the parking lots, overcrowding in the parking lots, and the effects that it has on vehicular traffic and things like that. So we're not here as a board to help manage the operations of the club. I mean, if you feel that you want to go and speak with the police department, I mean, you know, I would support it. All I'm saying to you is that, you know, that's something that you need to do with your clients and the Revere Police Department. And
let me say this to you, Mr. Chairman. The open and dialogue that this commission has had with my licensees since I've become their lawyer, and the police office, the department, has been to don't take on the responsibility of dealing with the parking lot yourself. Reach down, ask for help. So here we go, and you know, we have an event happening in the police in those two events, and somebody reaches for help. Now, in both cases, the person that reached for help, that brought other assistance to the parking lot, was the police officers themselves. In the second incident, July 4th, it was Officer Romero, who hasn't even entered the building, who's asking for additional bodies. In the first one, it was Officer Fantasia, who, needless to say, was certainly in a position that I would have made, or anybody would have made that call. But, you know, we don't invite the police down. We've got a detail officer. But one of the police reports talks about, quote, a directive patrol. That means a patrol unannounced, unrequested, that somebody rides by my licensee. I suggest it's probably not a directive patrol in any other licensee in the city. So Are they coming to help us? If they are, that's great. If they're coming to say, you know, you can't control your own parking lot, well, no one's saying that, because historically, we've never had a problem with the parking lot. Historically, the parking lot is large enough. It's a 200 capacity. We had 168 people the night of July 4th. We have photos of the interior. We have interior film and exterior film, which we'll be glad to show you in a lengthy hearing. But, I mean, you know, the real issue is, what can we do together? I mean, for example, you're right, the parking lot spins around to the left-hand side of the building. That happens to be the most dangerous part of the parking lot, because my client and their doorman walk out of the facility in the front part. We could see most of it. On the left-hand part is where at least one of the incidents happened, especially the incident involving Mr. Ramsey and Officer Fantasia. So my point is, we have cameras there. But do we start following the detailed officer and any accompanying officer with our security staff?
But doesn't that, a lot of that stem from the operations of the club and what you're doing, you know, how you're operating and what is, I mean, clearly, that club operated for 25, 30 years, and you very rarely heard anything happening at that club. I mean, granted, there have been incidences, but by and large, it's been relatively quiet.
It's been that way because they're allowed to take care of their parking lot and their facility with their own private security. That's what they did many, many years. They didn't call the Revere Police. That's the disconnect. We're being asked by, you know, people that I've spoken to, call us, we'll work with you. Well, call us, we'll work with you means if someone wants to help us. If one of the options is to hire our own private security so that we had extra people on the premises, I can tell you the Pisas are behind me. They'll be glad to step up and say, we'll put that on the table, because that's something that came on the table that I had to take off the table because that wasn't part of the discussion.
Well, I recognize that. I mean, that's something that you're going to have a discussion with the police department, because clearly I don't want somebody taking, you know, law enforcement matters into their hands if they're not a licensed police officer, right? And so I also don't want to discourage you from calling the police department and then penalize you for doing it because you did it. I mean, I think it's important that step takes place. However, when you're starting to put police officers in danger and these guys are outnumbered significantly and have to call for backup, that's a major problem for me.
And you know, there are 2 points you make, so I'll respond to them briefly. The first is that we put them in danger. My response immediately would be that both detail officers released the people that they had in custody. Both incidents, on July 4th and June 1st, after talking to the patrons that were walked out of the facility, they were released, told to go home. So that's not us putting them in danger. However, if you're saying the underlying condition of the patrons that were removed.
But hold on, counsel.
That they were intoxicated, well, then that's a whole different story, and we're here to defend them.
Right, I understand that, and we're not here to have the hearing today. All I'm saying to you is that, to me, I think in talking to police officers that there are certainly conditions that could warrant them to make arrests, but being in a situation where they're outnumbered puts them at a distinct disadvantage without any type of backup or support. I mean, obviously, you know, you want to control the situation. They've talked about that at other meetings where, you know, what they don't want to happen is have this thing turn out to be a really significant event where a lot of people can be injured, and so I commend them for that. Having said that, this all stems from the operations of the club, and what I think we need to do is we're going to table we'll table this hearing, and we'll address all. We'll give you enough time, give you the 10 days notice to address all 3 incidents: June 1st, July 4th, July 8th incidents.
You've been very kind, Mr. Chairman. Let me say this: these individuals that operate this facility operate 3 other facilities. They operate Tens, the Golden Banana, and in a place called Jules in New Hampshire. They have the same type of facilities. They run the same type of entertainment. They have the same type of security. The critical issue here, I honestly believe, is the disconnect that I've just discussed with you. And if we can address that, I don't think you'll have any future problems. And so I'll leave you with that, sir.
Well, let's leave it at that, because, I certainly could debate that issue with you. But let's leave it at that for now. I will make a motion to table this hearing until, for a special meeting that will determine, that will give you sufficient time that we meet the time frame and give you time to add the July 8th incident. And I suspect it'll be sometime in the first or second week in August, and we'll hold a hearing at that point. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second the motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Thank you.
So the motion's been passed to table this for a special meeting to be determined in the first or second week in August. Thank you, Council. Communications, Form 43 from Massachusetts Alcoholic Beverage Control Commission approving a change of manager for 99 West LLC doing business as the 99 Restaurant and Pub, 121 VFW Parkway. Communication number 2 is a letter from Kerry Tunstall of KST Corporation doing business as Bill Ash Lounge, notifying the License Commission of film production work being done in business after the closing hour on July 9th. No alcoholic beverages will be available, nor will the establishment be open to the public at any time. License renewals, common victuals license, Fidel Lasagne doing business as a Salam Market, 1559 North Shore Road. Have they met all of the requirements? Okay, I'm going to make a motion to table the renewal license for Salam Market until we determine whether all inspectional services sign-offs are in our control. The August 20th? August 20th? Okay. So I'll make a motion to, I'll make a motion to set the meeting for, the August meeting for August 20th. That's a Wednesday? Wednesday, August 20th. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second the motion.
All in favor, say aye. Okay, and then we will, do we have enough time to determine when we can establish that special meeting? Or you want to wait off that? Okay, we'll wait on that. Okay, I'll make a motion to adjourn today's July Revere License Commission meeting. Is there a second to that motion?
Second motion.
All in favor, say aye.